Today I'm in Canary Wharf, the 97-acre private estate home to the banks. So Canary Wharf actually used to be a docklands where they transported fruit and vegetables from the Canary Islands, hence the name Canary Wharf, and there being so much water all around. So if you don't know the history of Canary Wharf, the first building that was constructed was 1 Canada Square, which was once the tallest building in the UK until the Shard was built. It was actually meant to be 30 metres higher than it is now, but it would have obstructed the access to London City Airport. So the construction of 1 Canada Square encouraged banks to start moving in, and that's when in 1991 banks such as Citibank, Morgan Stanley and many of the others you hear about all started moving in. So because of the banks, it obviously attracts a lot of industry and graduates, people, a lot of work available. So obviously they had to start providing accommodation for these people. And that's when new apartment blocks started being built, such as this Newfoundland Virtus. I'm not sure if it's Newfoundland or Newfoundland, obviously named after the state, I don't know if it's a state or something in Canada called Newfoundland, but that's Newfoundland Virtus. So we've actually had to come out slightly outside of Canary Wharf to see these. I don't know if it is still in the Canary Wharf estate, but we've had to come out the barriers. The Landmark Pinnacle is actually the highest residential tower in Europe, and that's what we just walked past. And we've also got the Wardian, which is 2 skyscrapers, or 2 buildings, just here. That's again residential, so that's pretty much the most popular residential properties, as well as One Park Drive all the way over the other side. We'll go have a look at that later. But that's where we are with apartment buildings in Canary Wharf. So there's also the shopping centre, Canada Place, and this has everything you can imagine in it, from food to clothes, so you can even buy cars in there. There's a Range Rover garage. So outside of doing work, there's also places to go shopping and for tourists to go. So in 1992, just a year after the main banks moved in, including the Financial Conduct Authority, the whole estate actually went into administration. And it was then sold in 1995 to Paul Reishman, I think that's how you pronounce it. He was the original owner of Canary Wharf when it was a docklands, and he bought it for £800 million in 1995. So there's also, instead of just banks, there's also real estate jobs here. So CBRE's here, I know JLL have an office here, Savills, even the valuation office have an office here. So it's not just a banking place to work if you're looking for a job. So Paul Reishman then ran it for 4 more years until 1999 and listed the Canary Wharf Group on the London Stock Exchange, where they do actually have graduate jobs and you can work for them as a company. And then he sold it to Songbird Estates, which is an international consortium backed by Morgan Stanley, one of the banks located here. He sold it to them for £1.2 billion, so he made 400 million in 9 years. So obviously with the promotion of green spaces in offices and business parks, Canary Wharf couldn't be the one without anything, so they've got parks all over the place. This is Jubilee Plaza, one of the parks right in the middle, but they've also got a field where they play sports for like F1 and cricket, all the kinds of sports on the weekends over the other side. So they've got loads of parks and outdoor areas to also go to get away from like the work stuff. So Canary Wharf also have the Crossrail Place roof gardens, which was built in 2015 and is just above the Elizabeth Line tube station and a bunch of restaurants, making it just a nice place to go have lunch and meet people. I don't think Canary Wharf are too interested in tourist attractions, and meaning they can create spaces like this to improve the quality of life in the estate. The actual garden is 300 metres long and sits almost exactly on the meridian line, and the planting is arranged in according to which hemisphere they are from, with Asian plants such as bamboos to the east and plants such as the ferns from the Americas to the west. So there's much more effort that's obviously gone into the garden than you'd initially think. So the other residential building I was talking about was One Park Drive earlier. It's here, one of the most exclusive, expensive apartment buildings in Canary Wharf, with rents probably like £3,000–4,000 almost per bedroom. And so as a graduate, it's probably not somewhere I can live. But I also find it quite interesting because everywhere in the country, or even in the world, the office market is just collapsing. The people aren't really staying in offices anymore. But here they're just constantly, you can see they're constantly building all the time. There's 27 skyscrapers here now, and 16 million square foot of office space, which is uncomprehendable to anyone unless you're looking at these buildings like from below and looking around. So it's really interesting to see that there's still a massive demand for it here. Obviously they wouldn't be doing it unless there was reason to be doing it. But I think that's mainly for two reasons. Firstly being the size of the companies. Obviously you've got HSBC, Barclays, you've got the big four and massive investment banks having their headquarters here, meaning that if there's ever an office they have to keep, they're going to be keeping these ones, meaning they're always going to need the office space, and whether it's empty or not, it doesn't matter. They've got so much money, and even if they collapse, they'll be bailed out by someone. But also the fact that it's Canary Wharf, it's London, it attracts so many people for grad roles, main jobs. It's a really nice place to be, and I see why it's such an attractive place. So I think they're the two main reasons Canary Wharf is such a popular place. And the office market, the effects of the office market aren't really being affected by it. So that's really just my opinion on this thing. We've got one more thing to look at before we end the video. Just something quite interesting, quite funny to be here. I'll show you that and then we'll finish the video up. So it's not very common to see a super yacht in London, but this one, Phi, however it's pronounced, worth 45 million, has been sat here for nearly 2 years. It was seized off of a Russian billionaire. So that's my Canary Wharf tour finished off now. Let me know if you enjoyed the video, whether you would work here, if it's a place you'd like to visit. But if you enjoyed the video, please remember to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.